well. So anyways, welcome to Work San Jose. We're between shows at the moment, so it looks like suspiciously blank around here. And we've got an incredible show coming up with about 70 animators from San Jose State. So the place is going to be covered with about 20 some televisions and I don't know, around 300 prints of character designs, animated work, storyboard work, all sorts of stuff. So that's coming in actually starting Friday. So come on back on the 19th, and we've got that incredible show happening. There's going to be a grand opening of this space, not just Works, but the entire Open San Jose site here on June 10. So look for that. There's going to be great performances, food, another show after the animation show that'll be in here. So all sorts of stuff. So come and see us. Look us up at Work San Jose or just workssj.org. That'll get you there. And I'm going to hand it over quickly now to, right there, the president of Poetry Center San Jose, Rob Passage. All right.
Definitely need like a little coin, your head on one side and my head on the other. Okay, thank you all for your patience and here in the gallery and out there in Zoomlandia. First, a land acknowledgement to start this evening's occasion. We acknowledge that the city of San Jose exists on the unceded land of the Ohlone. We recognize the right the Ohlone people have to this land, which they have stewarded throughout the generations. We acknowledge that this land has come under the control of various entities through violence and dishonesty. And we recognize the history and legacy of colonialism that impacted indigenous peoples, their traditional territories and practices. We acknowledge that every member of the San Jose community continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land. We recognize that the Ohlone people are alive and flourishing members of the community today. Let us take a moment now of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Ohlone people of the past and present. Thank you. Now for some words about our support. Poetry Center San Jose is a member-supported organization, and we need your support. Membership accounts for 20% of our total revenue. Help us pay artists by becoming a member today. Visit pcsj.org/membership. Upcoming events at Poetry Center include San Jose Poetry Slam featuring Brandon Leak, Sunday, May 14th at 7 p.m. live at Tabor Theater, 29 North San Pedro Square. Then we have Third Thursdays, co-sponsored by Willow Glen Public Library, Thursday, May 18th, 7 p.m. That's via Zoom. Guest hosted by Mighty Mike McGee and Beautiful Black Books. And this month, we are featuring Turida Mikkel out of Oakland, Saturday, May 27th at 11 a.m. This is also via Zoom, and most of our events are free. Sejura is now accepting submissions for its 2023 issue, the theme Objects in the Mirror. And remember, Red Wheelbarrow Poetry Prize is accepting submissions to this year's contest with final judge Alan Bass. 3 prizes, $1,000, $500, $250. Top 5 published in Red Wheelbarrow Literary Magazine. And the winning poem is printed as a letterpress broadside. And on June 13th, Well Read will feature poet, educator, and visual artist Bianca Stone flying out from Vermont, along with a showing of the film titled Ruth Stone's Vast Library of the Female Mind. And that is directed by Nora Jacobson. Bianca will also give a workshop at PCSJ's home, Markham House, that's California Landmark 416, Sunday, June 11th at 12:30 p.m. And for more, just visit pcsj.org. You'll get all the rest of the stuff that's happening this month and in June. And now to welcome Elizabeth Jiménez Montelongo, a visual artist, poet, and teacher based in the San Francisco Bay Area. Her work addresses themes of identity, transformation, and empowerment. Her work is influenced mainly by her indigenous Mesoamerican ancestry, Mexica-Aztec artwork and philosophy, Mexican culture, Raza history, and her experiences as an indigenous Chicana Mexican woman. Elizabeth Jiménez Montelongo's artwork has been featured in over 60 exhibitions across the United States, recently in Texas. And locally, her artwork has been featured in solo exhibitions at San Jose State University, La Peña Cultural Center in Berkeley, and also Mountain View Cultural Center for the Performing Arts, as well as in group exhibitions at the Triton Museum of Art in Santa Clara, Marin Museum of Contemporary Art in Novato, Alliant International University in San Francisco. Elizabeth's work has been included in national group exhibitions at venues such as UCCS Galleries of Contemporary Art in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Monmouth Museum in Lincroft, New Jersey, and Wilmer Jennings Gallery at Kennekaleba in New York City. Elizabeth's poetry has been published in print anthologies as well as in print and online journals. She has been invited to offer readings, presentations, and workshops for schools and colleges, including San Jose State University, CSU Monterey Bay, Mission College, and Ohlone College. In 2020, she was co-editor of the first issue of Culture Counts magazine, published by Culture Counts reading series of San Jose State University. She will be our host tonight. All right. She recently was awarded a commendation from the city of San Jose as a poet and visual artist. So congratulations, and please welcome Elizabeth. What's up? Put it forward.
Thank you so much, Rob. Yeah, I didn't know Rob was going to read my bio, but thank you. I'm mostly here to to introduce our featured poets for tonight as the founder and editor of Raiz Magazine. Here's a copy of Raiz. So I wanted to share a little bit about what Raiz Magazine is, and then start introducing our contributors that are here to share their poetry with you tonight. So, Raiz Magazine consciously creates space for the creation, publication, and presentation of poetry and visual art by people who identify as women, girls, and members of the global majority, also known as people of color, with an emphasis on work by people whose heritage is rooted in lands that are now Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, and South America, who may identify as Chicana, Chicano, Indigenous, Raza from their country of origin, Latinx, or Hispanic. And our website is lareizmagazine.com, where you can actually read the entire issue. This is the 2022 issue. We also have the 2021 issue online for free, so you can read the whole thing. We want to make sure it's accessible to the public. And we also offer a lot of free poetry workshops where some people will write their very first poem. And we host events such as this. A lot of our events are on Zoom as well. And, it's sometimes people's first opportunity to share their poetry publicly. So that's what Raiz Magazine is. And we're also on Instagram at Raiz Magazine and Facebook at Raiz Mag. And so now I'd like to introduce our featured poets. So we have three. I'm gonna share all their names, and then I'll introduce the first one who's going to read. So tonight we're going to hear from Alma R. Orozco, Zainab Hussain, and Hector F. Castañeda, also known as Dog Days Are Over. And our first featured poet for the evening is Alma R. Orozco. She, her, ella. is a Latina first-generation college graduate, born and raised in a Mexican household in San Jose, Seven Trees neighborhood. Alma's childhood memories, education, and personal journey are deeply tied to her community and faith. She is passionate about educational equity and currently supports college students through her work. Above all, she loves being a daughter, sister, tia, and friend. And you can find her on Instagram as always, _creciendo101. All right, welcome, Alma.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited about this, and thank you, Elizabeth. And I'm also excited to hear the work of my two colleagues here. So I have a few pieces. Some are a little bit new, some are a little bit older. And I'll try to give context at the start of each one to kind of just understand a little bit more of where I was at. So this first one is called Got to Live. I wrote it this week. And so this one was inspired by a specific Instagram reel that said, "We will one day look back and all the simple things are what we're going to miss." So here it goes. Yep, my dad's not working. I'd smile to myself as Las Jilguerillas woke us singing on full blast. Soon we grew up, and so did my parents. That Michoacan music no longer playing on their only day off. It's true what they say, que como pasa el tiempo, los años no pasan en balde. Hearing family friends say, "Mi hija, me acuerdo cuando estabas así de chiquita," once they see and recognize. Now I look back and think, wow, I missed this and that. Life's experiences simply passing by. And as I crave the past, hoping to feel the childlike spirit one last time, I am reminded that today too shall pass. So I try to focus on today, knowing que aún tengo a mis papás, remembering to tell them, gracias por todo, and los quiero un chingo, even in the hard times. ¿Se acuerdan cuando? Causing uncontrollable laughs, because giggling at las charitas is what helps us cope and enjoy God's time. So although the clock won't stop and change is inevitable, I am reminded that I once loved and thankfully got to live this thing called life. The second one is called We're Not Everyone's Tea. Was inspired by all of the women that have empowered me in the tough times, including friends on the call, family members, sister, mother, grandparents, and so forth. Girl, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea because maybe you're not plain. You're a matcha latte with some foam art at play. O un chocolate abuelita that we crave when it's rainy and cloudy outside. Problems piling and water rising, but you stay cozying and warming us all in. Or better yet, un mojito. Make it raspberry at that. Bringing the fizzle to the party after working hard at bat. Baby girl, you're a whole ass mimosa flight on a fun brunch with the crew, shouting as you dance, hey, you do you. And yes, sometimes you can be a bit icy of a drink, a little closed off with your lid, but we are not perfect. So grace to yourself is what you got to give. What I'm trying to say is you may not be just anyone's tea, but you're my best friend, amiga. A transparent chat, a refreshing hug, a glass of water is all I need. The third one was inspired by all of the service providers that don't just provide service, but they heal the soul. My eyebrow girl knows we about to chat and giggle. Not so much of the art or service, but of what has taken place in the span of my last appointment. I got my nails done with my sister's go-to person. She did a good job with the brush and the tip, surprised that they're still intact after a month of such wild things. There are two people that touch my hair, one to trim and one to dye, because each one has their passions and I trust them both with their hands. All of this for just one person to calm and soothe when the rest of the world is up and running. And yet there's still much to be done, to care and prioritize, because as a work in progress, I can use all the help I can get. And then this one was inspired by my favorite title that I've ever had, Tia. It's called Tiahood. The way you light up in an instant when you see Tia walk in brightens just about any day, even when it's stormy, rainy, and sick. How you hold on tight to my hand as you take your first steps, knowing I'll catch you as soon as you slip. You don't see, though, all the imperfections and mistakes your Tia has made along these long and curvy multiple treks. You just laugh and smile with your two-tooth grin. Ask me to carry you because you know I got you, and we'll dance through thick and through thin. These last two pieces, they're dedicated to my parents, and they go hand in hand how they reciprocate each other. This one is called Mi Gran Viejón because my dad's my dad. Mi papá, la base, la certeza, el que sabe y si no, se lo inventa. Antes era duro, pero por su madurez es como aprendí que la vida es dura, pero yo también. A quien un consejo no se le pide, él con gusto te lo da. Y la sabiduría que contiene es más grande que cualquier moneda. Tuvo una niñez corta, a los 8 cosechando, siempre trabajando, para sus papás y para nosotras, sin preguntar ni quejar. A lo largo del tiempo, aprendí que hace todo lo que pueda para que nunca nos falte una coca ni un pan. Sé que él es él, tal hecho como está, sin filtros pero con amor. Mi gran viejón, gracias por estar. And because tomorrow is Mexican Mother's Day, this one is for my mom, mi gran corazón. Mi mamá, el sustento, el aliento, que nos ayuda siempre al simplemente respirar. Amor que se ve, que se demuestra con los hechos, al verte con los ojos y preguntar, ¿cómo estás? Un abrazo cuando más lo ocupas, una comida con sabor, una risa contagiosa y habla con sazón. Todos la llaman para escuchar su voz. Ayuda cuando te sientes sola y ama sin condición. Es orgullo de su papá y ahora sé por qué. Porque cómo no sonreír al verla jugar y correr. Mi madre querida y ahora abuela, qué gusto ser suya y felicidad al simple caminar con usted.
Hey, those were beautiful. Thank you, Alma. So that was Alma R. Orozco that we were listening to, her 6 poems. And I especially enjoyed those last 2 for her parents, para sus padres. Felicidades. And let's see. So up next, our second La Raiz Magazine contributor that we're going to hear from tonight is Zainab Hussain. Zainab Hussain has been writing poetry for over a decade, and after her publication in La Raíz Magazine, she launched her multimedia poetry platform, Stories Untold, Poetry for the Soul. Zainab's poetry centers around embracing vulnerability, practicing self-love, navigating relationships, and most importantly, healing trauma through self-expression. Zainab has a background in psychology and now works in inclusion and diversity. She is an advocate for social reformation, immigrant rights, gender and racial equity, religious freedom, disability inclusion, and mental health awareness. And she can be found on Instagram at storiesuntold_poetry. All right, so welcome, Zainab.
Thank you, Liz, for the kind welcome and everyone who's here at this event today. My name is Zainab Hussain, and I'm here to perform some poems. So this one does not have a name. I don't have a name for it. Untitled. Time is a cruel creature, a most elusive beast, preying on its hunter. It mesmerizes and tantalizes, pulling me deeper into its depths, getting me to keep chasing after it, even though I never get any closer. The faster I run, the further it gets. In the moments I need it, I can't seem to get enough. And when I try to escape it, time can't seem to pass by quick enough. Confounding every intellect, tormenting every soft heart, testing every soul while healing every scar. The equation is unsolvable. It remains a paradox because time is an illusion, something we made up. We decided how many seconds would go into each hour. We created an algorithm to attempt to define its power, but time doesn't belong to humans. Regardless of us, it moves forward. And just because I don't feel the earth's movement, that doesn't mean that it isn't spinning furiously under my feet at every moment. Whether I grasp it or not, my time is ending. With each day, I only grow older. The end of the line only gets closer. Even if I pretended to be stuck, I can't stop the hands of the clock. I only tell myself I've got time to waste because I've gotten used to waking up each day, fully expecting to wake up again the next, out of my privilege and arrogance. And I know that if I died today, it would be with many regrets. I still haven't changed my ways. I still haven't made things right. So I confess to my hypocrisy, my delusion, my fantasy, because the fact of the matter is, I do not treat my life as a gift. I don't live as though my present is a present, even though that's exactly what it is. Thank you. This next one is called Merging Hearts. Tell me your secrets, open your heart. Don't try to hide it. I know it's ripping you apart. Tell me who did this. Tell me how it happened. Show me the scars that you hide from everyone else. Tell me your secrets. Unburden yourself. You know you can trust me. Please let me help. I know this isn't easy. I know that you don't want to, but the painful memories can only break us if we let them. I'll be here to hold you, and I won't ever let go. It's like I always tell you, you're stronger than you know. I know that you're afraid, but the past can't hurt you. Here you are safe. I will protect you. Tell me your secrets. Let me into your mind. Show me your sadness. Let our hearts intertwine. Do you want me to do anything? Okay, I don't know. But, okay, great. This one is also untitled. I wrote it for someone who was about to get married. She wanted me to write about love, which I don't know that much about, so this will be fun. People say they fall in love as if that's something to be proud of. I challenge you instead to rise. In that you should take pride. Rise to the occasion, manifest your vision of what love is truly meant to be, for it's the greatest of all mysteries. Why some rise while others fall is the eternal question plaguing us all. Science can only do so much when it comes to dissecting love. Even the matchmaking aunties will confess that there is no method to the madness. Marriage is whatever we make it to be. You get to decide if you get to be happy. And it might not be sunshine and rainbows, but there is calm in the eye of the storm. Trust your soul when it whispers to you. Listen to the voice that you don't really want to. Make the sacrifices that you dread. Be brave enough to challenge yourself. Hope for the best and trust God with the rest, because blessings are hiding where you least expect to find them. And love is unwavering regardless of the situation. So if you can accept that we're all only human, you can rest assured knowing that your love is real. Be the partner that your partner needs, not the one you think you should be. Allow yourself to fall and to be picked back up. Give freely, but keep filling your own cup, because all is lost if you neglect to love yourself first. Thank you. Thank you all so much, everyone here and everyone on Zoom. As Liz shared, you can check out more of my poetry online at stories_untold_poetry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you, Zainab. Your wonderful poems. I think you and Alma are really good at rhyming as well. It's awesome. All right, it's a last start. Okay, so next up we have Hector Castañeda, also known as Dog Days Are Over. Hector is a writer, creative coach, musician, audio engineer, producer, singer, graphic designer, curator, host of the Strange Alchemy podcast, and more. He says, I'm based in Ohlone. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong bio. Let me read the updated one. That was a good start though. That part's the same. I have an updated one, so I want to share this one with you. All right, he says, I'm based in Ohlone territory, East Side San Jose, with a loving family of immigrants. My multifaceted performance features an intuitive decolonial blend of poetry, song, and music to invoke divine alchemic messaging. Rooted in my Temoaya, Nahnu, and Otomi lineage, I center the neurodivergent queering of language and form for brown people of global majority, people of color. My writing and musical themes often touch on intuition, ancestral energy, linguistics, surrealism, religion, color, organized chaos, metaphysicality, and harmony. Philosophy, queerness, biology, marginalized bodies, the rewritten and unwritten. And you can visit dogdaysmusic.com. All right, welcome, Hector.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hector, also known as Hector the Alchemist, previously known as Dog Days Are Over. I'm going to be sharing 3 poems with you all. The first one is centered on rebirth, specifically around my birth month, which is this month, because I just turned 24 on May 2nd. And also to celebrate, I announced that I'm touring, and so I'm doing a mix of different poetry and music events. If you want to stay updated, you can just go to dogdaysmusic.com. Second piece will be Native Tongue, which is actually from Raíz magazine. And to close out, I will be reading my favorite pieces that came to me after a breakthrough in one of my somatic dream work practices. It's called I Dug Into the Depths of My Queerness and Found God. So this first one is Oracularity. It is now re-released on all streaming platforms as a remix with my production in the mini EP. And yeah, let it speak for itself. In the distance, I hear a knocking, and it does not make me cower. Like my mother's knuckle knocks, it cradles the internality of my forehead and sparks, catalyzes its inner uncrucifying from the body held onto so tight for so long, for so many centuries, the way light glints at its own reflection. It glistens and gleams into God's last dream, dissolved onto the mouths of his disciples during his last supper. Supper is just a synonym for rite of passage for slumber. And so in the thesaurus of my mind, my every stomached meal becomes a ritual, becomes the inversion of sacramented Eucharist. and my every ancestor awakens from the grave of my inner mind mausoleum, and they chant, and the harmonies stacked like summits birthing other mountains on top of themselves, and in this way, I am reborn like I always am every day. This ceremony blesses my skin with the alive of my pulse, and I tap my wrists in awe at their organic machinery and how my breath is the summary of my well-being, and how many bodies have died in the name of unjust sacrilege, and how the priest never forgives sinners within the depths of his locked box chest. Isn't lockbox just a man's way of imprisoning what he knows could set fire to his skyscrapers, like his sky suddenly scraping itself into the multiplicity of a black hole singularity until his ego crumbles back into the stardust that birthed it, like how a mother could unbirth her child at any moment but does not, and thus the undoing becomes the holy, and thus I'm undone until I am nothing but a ball of light floating incandescent in the hands of spirit, telling my father spirit had something special in mind when they decided to emerge me from the shadows of what should have never been born. My mother's birth canal was too narrow, my cranium too large. To this day, I've had to constantly allow ancestral and descendant energies to cradle me out from narrow birth canals each time I'm reborn, and this channeling and everything but a death, and death is nothing but a vein collapsing into a root system, and I am every nothing that brought me here to breathe myself into existence until I resurrect every choir the preacher deemed too revolutionary, too potent, too earthquake. And so I paint a self-portrait each time enough of my cells invert themselves into near a recognition, and my cognition expands beyond the scope of the previously impossible, and possibility becomes a crystalline sphere within my grasp, and I sigh at how closed eyes could channel a river through their forehead as well. All they have to do is sit in the fields of bullets and neuron and bone and blood and clay and metal and fire and webs and mirrors and kaleidoscopes, and listen and listen, 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 listen. Oracularity. Right into this next piece, native tongue, on Raiz Magazine. I hear my ancestors' native tongue for the first time. My eyes swell an ocean of history, colonial ships landing ashore, craving gold, craving blood, craving ichor, a story decaying in memory, a collapsing skull speaking through rotting teeth, hearing this erased gospel. My body remembers forgotten lullabies. Body knows this language was butchered to near extinction. Who'd hunt a tongue in pieces? Who'd labor a decolonized expedition for every puzzle piece? As a child, I was fascinated by veins beneath my tongue, like roots searching for surviving language to overgrowth every colonizer's lexicon. One, English felt like prickly syllables, micro tongue cuts, reason why I break its colonized rules. Two, Spanish felt more like answers, but it was colonizers' false gilded God. And three, I'm aware of one and two every time my family encourages either language. A dentist told me I was tongue-tied, and so I stretched out my tongue, or rather I started expanding my roots, started studying the blood evaporated by history. We didn't forget this tongue. It was yanked from the root, thieved from the hollows of our throats. I was born mestizo, a molcajete, mortar and pestle of Spanish, and Temoaya Otomi, born both colonizer and colonized in my DNA, born war zone of blood and jaw and genocide and throat and erasure and tongue. I relearned my ancestral people. Otomi was also a colonizer's nickname. Their true names, Temoaya, Nyanyu, and Nyuhu, sound like poems encapsulated in a single word, like seed with entire ecosystem inside awaiting unlocking. 300,000 Anahuac soul strong, tongue rare, except in my grandmother's mouth memory. Before visiting Oaxaca, I learned through a screen and not linking hands or exchanging eyes or dancing tongues in communal tandem of meal and song. But these words are seedlings, germinating spark growths, still learning this tongue and its genocidal history of derooting. Maybe I can plant new cornucopias in the wasteland hollow of my jaw, even if those who cultivated seeds before me still struggle today to remember the history pruned from their bleeding intergenerational mouths. Thank you. And close out this piece. So I've been really diving deeply into my healing work, into my body, into my finances, to my just on every level. And within that journey through the House of Embodiment led by Victoria Washington, I had this breakthrough of the line, I dug into the depths of my queerness and found God. Not only did I know it, I felt it. And this is that poem. I dug into the depths of my queerness and found God. I became an instrument for queer. I let its resonance pierce through my skin and burst into every cell. I became overflowing with queer. Its delicious taste pouring out my waterfall mouth. I dug into the depths of my queerness and found God. It glowed with the luminance of my entire ancestral lineage. I sowed the soil of my skin with the seeds of spirit. I am here to be multiplied. I prayed. I'm here to be limitless. I reaffirmed. I am here to be expanded. I exclaimed. I asked for a miracle, and so I was alchemized to become it. Upon a pyramid of suns, I summoned a trifecta of phasing moons. Upon a resurrection of Nyanyu tongues, I found a growing limb. I pulled its outstretched palm and unearthed myself. I dug into the depths of my queerness and found God, and every wall of I became a house of we. We dug into the depths of our queerness and found God. We pulled its outstretched palm and unearthed ourselves. Upon a resurrection of Nyanyu tongues, we found a growing limb. Upon the pyramid of suns, we summoned a trifecta of phasing moons. We asked for a miracle, and so we were alchemized to become it. We are here to be expanded. We exclaimed, we are here to be limitless. We reaffirmed, we are here to be multiplied. We prayed, we sowed the soil of our skin with the seeds of spirit. It glowed with the luminance of our entire ancestral lineage. We dug into the depths of our queerness and found God, its delicious taste pouring out our waterfall mouths. We became overflowing with queer. We let its resonance pierce through our skin and burst into every cell. We became an instrument for queer. We dug into the depths of our queerness and found God. Thank you all again so much. My name is Hector the Alchemist. You can find all my work on dogfacemusic.com. I have a couple personalized poems in a bottle that I can sell to you as merch. I would love to sit down with you and get to know where you're at in your creative journey, so I can write that for you. And I just launched my Alchemic Activation Apprenticeship 3-month program. I help songwriters and poets of color to activate their intuition through breath work and dream work. And I am opening the cohort for June. So if that interests you, feel free to come talk to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Hector. Yeah, so that's the kind of work we publish in Raiz Magazine. They had shown this at the beginning. This is our 2022 issue, and this one is our 2021 issue, and it's full of poetry and visual art. And the poets you heard from tonight are in this in this issue. And we'll have some available if you're interested. They're also available at raizmagazine.com, or you can just read them digitally if you don't feel the need to like hold it, but some people like to have a printed issue, so they're available. And yeah, so if we could have another round of applause for our 3 featured poets tonight. Great to hear like those different perspectives. So to close out this portion, I'm going to share 2 of my poems, and then we're going to open up the open mic. And we're hoping that people here will participate, share some of your poetry, or if you just want to speak, or read a favorite poem, however you feel interested in participating. All right, so my poems I'd like to share today. This one I don't think I've read publicly before, kind of fit my mood today. I had a dream. In my dream, my teeth fell out one by one. In my dream, I had to spend my days in a place where they didn't speak my language. In my dream, a man yelled at my mom, the person I love the most, and all I could do was watch. In my dream, I left to a place where nobody spoke my languages, and my friends fell off one by one. In my dream, I had to hide my books. Most were taken, and I never saw them again. In my dream, all my remaining belongings fit in a small storage space in a large suitcase, and I didn't know where I would sleep. I had the same dream again and again. In my dream, another person started to grow inside me. I started bleeding, lost in an endless, timeless pain, nothing but darkness and suffering, voices and flashes of light, and then she came out, carrying my strengths and flaws in beauty and imperfect perfection. In my dream, I had a story, but I couldn't find a pen, couldn't find the words, couldn't find my voice. In my dream, I couldn't speak. In my dream, I couldn't hear. In my dream, my forehead split open. In my dream, I woke up, but I was still asleep. In my dream, I ate and ate, but was always hungry again. In my dream, I cleaned and cleaned, but nothing was ever clean enough. In my dream, my teeth fell out. I woke up, my dream fell out. And I know I'm not dying, I'm just being born. Nightmares become daydreams. Daydreams hurt when they grow on you. You can wake up suddenly empty-handed. And I had a dream that wasn't this, but dreams do shift suddenly. And here I am, still dreaming. I don't think I'd shared that one before. It's like a personal one that kind of makes me emotional when I read it. So thanks for listening to that one. And then this one, I wanted to share one of my bilingual poems. I like to write bilingual poems or like Spanglish poems. So this is one of them. Como con las manos. I want to hold my food, feel it with my fingers, the texture on my skin before I taste it. I want to feel the oily tortilla of my taco al pastor. I want to feel that rough tostada de ceviche that loses toppings as I crunch it. I want a warm tamal in my hand, salsa y queso y crema, dripping off the sides. I want to eat that birria right, con tortillas and tacos, quesabirria, consomé dripping off my chin. I want the chile verde and the gorditas and on the sopes to end up all over my fingers so I can lick it off. I want to mop the mole off my plate with a warm tortilla. My daughter wants to eat salad or eggs with her fingers. Enjoy. Roll up a pancake and eat it like a taco. Go for it. Hold those little trees of broccoli. Pick up those peas and frijoles one by one like they're gems. Touch that food, shape it, arrange it. Some call it playing with food. I call it art, and my mom let me do it. Orange Mexican rice teocalis, little flat-topped pyramids de arroz were my recurring sculptures. Table manners are for tables, not for people who know how to experience their food long before it gets in their mouth. Some would judge my way of eating, but so what if my elbows are on the table? At least I'm not putting my codo on the minimum wage. So what if I slurp my caldo de pollo? At least I'm not slurping all the profit off someone else's labor. So what if I lick my fingers, smack my lips? At least I'm not licking or kissing anybody's anything para quedar bien. So what if I play with my food? At least I don't play with other people's lives. So what if I burp? It's better than talking hot air, making promises I won't keep. There are some things I'll never know, like why I've never eaten enchiladas con las manos yet, or why there's a limit to how high I can pile the pozole on my spoon. But what I do know is that when my napkin stays on the table, you can bet I'm leaning over my food, breathing it, holding it, savoring it, the way food was meant to be handled. I leave nothing on my plate. Snatch up those bits of carnitas, every last crumb of milanesa belongs in my mouth, and I'll enjoy the leftovers con salsa mañana. That's how to handle comida, con las manos. Crunch those buñuelos, let the crumbs of criticism fall on a tapete of repurposed judgment, reduced hierarchy, recycled capitalism. Thank you for listening to my poetry as well. And now we're going to switch over to the open mic segment. So I hope people will participate so we can hear from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take another round of applause for Elizabeth.